Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do my VCT Champions Pickems. Going to go through all four groups, get my predictions for every single game in the tournament, or at least in the group stage. Give a little bit of reasoning without trying to reveal my power rankings yet, because I think this is the first time that I will be doing my Pickems before my power rankings. But I just want to do it with the group draw being yesterday and everything like that. I finally caught up on all the teams today as well, which is great. So yeah, if you guys enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Going to be doing a lot of content leading up to champs. Going to be doing my power rankings next, and then my top 10 players just before the tournament starts. So stay tuned for all that content. I will also be posting my the second video in my rebuild series where I go through and rebuild all of the VCT teams that need rebuilding outside of China because I don't know enough about that region yet. And yeah, I'll be doing Loud next. I don't know if that's going to come out tomorrow or the next day, but it'll come out soon. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. You'll get notifications for when that comes out. And yeah, let's get right into this. All right, so we'll start with Group A here, where I think this is pretty easy to pick. You pick Fnatic, you pick DRX. Just the two best teams in this group, I think, pretty clearly. I think Crew has some chance in this game if Kesnet goes crazy, as they do in any game where Kesnet goes crazy. But for this group, I'm not super sold on them beating probably a fundamentally sound DRX, at least in groups. I think if this was a playoff game, I could maybe see Crew winning. But just for this game, I don't think it's really possible. Then I'd pick Fnatic over DRX. And I think Crew has a habit of like making runs late in the year to get to these events and then looking terrible at the event. So I'm actually going to pick Billy, who I don't think looked very good. But I'm going to pick them in this game over Crew. And then I'm going to pick DRX over Billy in this final game. Not really too much to talk about there. I think Fnatic and DRX are, again, the clear two best teams. And I think maybe this could be a little bit of an upset here with Billy over Crew. Then next up here, we have Group B, a group that we're going to spend infinitely more time on than Group A, just because this is the hardest group to pick, I think. You have the three grand finalists plus the team that I think is the best from China in FPX. Just an insane group to pick right now. And I'm going to try my best to go with my gut here rather than, oh, this team should win this game. Because I think if you go by that, it's not actually the hardest group to pick. But to start off, Sentinels versus Gen G, rematch from Madrid. And I think Sentinels get the best of Gen G again here. They're going to have a little bit of time to cook, a few weeks here between playoffs and champs. And I really think that they're going to have at least one new comp to maybe throw off Gen G a little bit. I think when Sentinels has time to prepare, they are very good. But when you get into these like later down the tournament games, and they're not going to have as many new comps, I think you really run into some issues with this team. But I don't think that'll affect them in this game, and I think they'll actually beat Gen G here. And then FPX Heretics. I'm actually going to think the same thing. This is this group's first time playing together on an international stage with Woot and with Miniboo. I don't think that's going to be a big issue for Heretics. But also, like, on the champ stage against FPX, who play really weird and who played them really, really close last time, I think you could genuinely see an upset here. I think this is a much bigger upset than Sentinels versus Gen G. But yeah, I'm not even down on Gen G or Heretics that much. I think these matchups are good for FPX and Sentinels. So yeah. Then we'll actually start with the elimination game this time. Oh, wait, I think I did last time. But regardless, we'll start with the elimination game here. And I mean, I've been on the train that Heretics are going to win this tournament. Now, they didn't look as great in playoffs as I think they probably should have. But I don't really think that matters. Like, they were already in champs pretty much. So, yeah. I'm going to pick them here over Gen G. It feels really wrong to have Gen G going out in 2 games at this tournament, but I just think the two teams that they're playing against here are kind of not fair. Like this is like when Optic and Loud were in this lower uh, groups game after they both made the finals of Reykjavik. So it's not unheard of in Valorant, and I just think Heretics win that game. Then you have Sentinels FPX. As I said earlier, Sentinels will kind of have like that surprise factor of new comps, and like maybe not necessarily surprise factor, but like FPX will be able to anti-strat it and everything. I actually think FPX will win this game. I'm fairly high on FPX going into this tournament. I don't think they're going to win or anything, but I think they'll be pretty good. Maybe, I mean, as I say here, make playoffs, and yeah, I think they'll win this game over Sen. And then I think Heretics win this game too. I just think Heretics is too good to get grouped. I mean, you could say the same thing for Gen G, and I'd have Gen G winning this game over Sentinels. But yeah, I just have Heretics winning this one. Then we have probably the most boring group, you could say here in Group C, where I'm gonna pick Lev in the opening game against Talon. I just, well, Talon is like a good team, and I think they have some solid stuff going with them. I just don't think they're as cohesive of a unit as they need to be, and they won't have as much time together as they need to be a Lev team that is kind of on fire right now in terms of shooting. Like Talon's best thing is their shooting, and so is Lev's, and Lev is just better at that and everything else. So I don't know. I'm gonna pick them there. Then Vitality Trace. I'm actually gonna pick Trace over Vitality, where I mean a lot of new players on the internet on the international stage. You got Runner, you got Kicks, you got Sender, I believe. I mean Sender played at Lock-In, so I'm not gonna say that's like super new or anything. Um, and who's the other player on this team? Sender, Kicks, Runner, Safe, and oh my god, Vitality. I'm fucking stupid, man. And Trex, yeah, Trex did play at Lock-In as well, but I don't really count that. I believe Sender played 2 games at Lock-In and Trex played 1. Yeah, that's right. Um, I think there could be some nerves here with a lot of this team, especially with Safe, honestly, who has had some issues with that in the past. Um, I think they lose this opening game against Trace, where I think Trace has shown a lot of nice stuff. And while I don't think that they're the best team from China, I genuinely think that they have the best chance out of any of the Chinese teams to win the tournament, which seems weird to say. But I think they just play the best, like, fundamental Valorant and also have the shooters to compete with the other Chinese teams, which means that they have the shooters to compete with the rest of the world. So I think they actually beat Vitality in this game for that reason and move on to lose to Leviathan, who I think just get a free ride into playoffs pretty much, which they've got so many free rides this year, except for kickoff pretty much. Yeah, and they just got smoked. It's fucking Shanghai, which was frustrating, but yeah, I think they'll win against Talon and Trace, which isn't a high bar to clear. Um, we'll see in playoffs pretty much with them, is what I'll say. And then Talon Vitality, I do think Vitality gets it here. I think Talon also will struggle with some of the nerve stuff, and I think Vitality is just the better team. And then I think by now Vitality will have the nerves shaken off and will be able to beat Trace in this rematch. Where, yeah, I think they just have been on fire lately. Vitality have. Um, Safe is a top 3 duelist in the world right now. I'd have him, yeah, yeah. I would have him over everybody in Group A, over everybody but Texture in Group B. I'd have him over everybody but Osbos in Group C, and then I'd have him over everyone in Group D. I just think he's fucking insane at both the Raze, the Jet, and even the Neon, where that's been a little bit more popular as of late. So yeah, I think he's, I mean, my main reason for belief, but I think Runner's been better on the Sentinel role, even though he's been a little shaky here and there. I do think he could get better, but he will be better. Maybe not in this tournament, but he will be better. Kicks has been pretty solid. I don't think he's been as great as you think he'd be. or maybe as I thought he would be coming into the year. I thought he was going to be like a top half initiator in EMEA, which he has been, but I think that's been a lower bar than I initially thought. And yeah, I like this whole roster. I think Sender's calling's been good, and then Trex is also insane. Maybe not as insane as Safe, but also very very good on this flex role. And then last up here, we have Group D, which I mean this group looks insane on paper, but honestly, I think this is a pretty bedge group to pick. Um, I'm gonna pick Foot to beat EDG. I've seen people say that EDG looks good now with their roster change that they made. I don't think there's too much of a difference, honestly. I think maybe they're playing a little bit better, like just solid Valorant most of the time, but I really think there's still a lot of mistakes in their gameplay. Kong is still really good on the Neon and stuff, but I don't think they're like there yet to beat Foot, even though Foot have looked a lot more shaky as of late. I think EDG could win this game, maybe, but I still think they kind of go out after this, which, I mean, you'll see in a second. But I'm going to pick G2 to beat Paper X as well, which I think is just a bad matchup for Paper X, even if you think they're going to go really far, which I don't even know if I do right now. I still need to think about that. Um, I still think G2 wins this game just because of the insane fundamentals of G2 against the stupid dumb shit of Paper X, pretty much is what that comes down to. You saw it at Shanghai. I think you'll see it again here. G2 Foot. I think G2 is just the better team there overall. Like literally across the board, except for Duelist. I think G2 diffs at every single role. IGL, even fucking Smokes individually. I think Balin's better. Trent's better on the Initiator. Uh, Jonah's better on the Flex than Cracks, and that's not even close. If you think otherwise, you just don't watch G2. And then Leaf is better than Yadage on Sentinel, which I could get behind maybe Yadage being like kind of close to Leaf, but I think Leaf is just one of the best Sentinels in the world. Then Paper X beat EDG, just because, I mean, it's two chaotic teams. I think there is a chance for maybe an EDG upset because they did it at Shanghai, but I'd have a hard time seeing Paper X go out in two here. Then Paper X Foot. I mean, I just think Paper X wins this. I think they kind of aim diff Foot, which is what Foot really relies on within EMEA. And yeah, so these are your groups pick'ems. We'll start at the top with Fnatic, DRX going through, FPX, Heretics going through in Group B, Leviathan and Vitality going through in Group C, and G2 and Paper X going through in Group D. I think outside of Group B, this is going to be fairly consensus, maybe other than Vitality losing this game. And yeah, maybe other than Paper X losing this game as well. I think this might be a little bit less than consensus, or less than consensus. I don't know how to describe that, but you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below of all of my pick'ems and the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.